the other thing that I just came across the feed was a comedian that I've never watched, Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, he's a bit of a douchebag.
Do you know much about him? I haven't watched one minute of his stand-up. I watched about 30 seconds of his podcast once and turned it off.
I tried to watch his stand-up and I turned it off after 10 minutes.
Wasn't good, you reckon?
It's not funny. He's a funny guy. Some of his podcasts actually pretty good.
Seems like off the cuff he's funny. He's quick as fuck.
But his stand-up, I was just like, I get that he's saying jokes, but they're not making me laugh, so I'm going to turn it off.
That's kind of like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, I obviously, I like Joe Rogan's podcast, but his stand-up has never made me laugh.
No.
I watched one of them, and I'm like, it's competent and not bad.
Yeah,
but Jesus Christ,
he's doing his job.
Yeah, it's this like you would see this at a little club.
Yeah,
it's not a special.
No.
I don't know. Not that I know shit all, but yeah. So Chris D'Elia has sort of been Me Too'd at the moment. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Yeah. Again, don't care. Just thought I'd share.
Yeah.
All these girls came out on Twitter saying that he harasses them, you know, and a few of them are like 17 and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think his character in, what was he in?
He's a pedophile.
He was in You.
He's a pedophile?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they're like, oh, he's a pedophile in real life, pedophile in a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know much about it, but apparently he's been messaging 17-year-olds for sex.
That is what happened in the show.
Yeah.
In You.
The thing is that, again, don't know nothing. I think in some of the state, like in New York, I think the age of consent is 17. So it's like, is he just a prick? And did he not break the law? I don't know. And because I don't care about him.
He would be one of those American dudes that is like, yeah, bros, like, I'm just going to speak up my mind, you know? I'm going to say what's on my, off the top of my, I don't give a fuck if people don't care whether I agree with me or not. I don't give a fuck.
Is this your American accent?
Yeah. But he's one of those dudes. And people in his circle would be like, man, you're so funny.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, I'm really funny. Like, that's what I see of him. And yeah, he does say some funny things.
I've never heard him say anything funny. I'm sure he does. I just don't listen to him.
There's a lot of funny people in the world. Doesn't mean that...
The two greatest comedians alive right now, in my opinion...
Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock, are Tim Dillon... and Leo Von.
I don't know
Theo
either
Von.
of them.
Theo Von.
Don't know either of them.
Theo Von's got a thing on Netflix that's old now. Hilarious. And Tim Dillon is also hilarious.
Don't know either of them.
They're great. Anyway, Chris D'Elia, like, when Louis C.K. got Me Too'd, I remember at the time saying, from my point of view, he didn't do anything wrong. He, asked girls come back, can I wank in front of you? Yes, no. Yes, stay. No, they're allowed to leave. So is that right or wrong? Whatever. Someone more clever can determine that. I don't give a fuck. My thoughts on it is it's like, if you are the kind of guy who your goal or you enjoy having sex with as many people as you want and can, you're opening yourself up for
crazies.
It's unfair to say that, but yes, it's like you're opening yourselves up. You're opening yourself up for
the higher percentage, the higher amount, the higher percentage.
Of trouble.
Bigger sample base.
Of trouble. Yeah.
Sample size.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean like the Aziz Ansari one,
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, from years ago where it was just like a bad date and then she tried to meet to him. Like,
yeah, I think I don't know, from what I've read, which is not too much, but there was two sides to every argument. He might have gone too far. He might have put too much pressure on. But people's levels of sensitivity are different as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about.
Some people might be more sensitive about sexual things than other people.
And that's what I'm talking about. When you're trying to sort of have sex with everyone that you can, you're opening yourself up for going through a situation poorly. Like if let's say you go with 7 girls and you're forward as fuck and they loved it. Great. Then the 8th, you're forward as fuck, and she's now uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, and then she goes to the media. It's like she's right to go to the media. Like, I don't know. And we're not clever enough to go into it, but this is what Jordan Peterson got himself into trouble with years ago when he was throwing out thoughts and theories, not things that he wanted to do. But one of his things that he threw out was the forced monogamy thing, where everybody should be forced to have women and men should be forced to have one partner, and that's the end of it.
Okay.
And he doesn't say that's what should happen.
Yeah.
But it's a way of stopping these things from happening.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think that's
It's a thought project.
Yeah, and obviously he copped criticism for it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is women should be forced to marry men they don't want.
Yeah.
He's like, I never said that, and I know it's not something that I think should happen. But
That would
if it
solve a problem.
if it was to happen, it would solve the problem. And we don't want that. But that's
Yeah. Like these sorts of conversations are interesting to me because to me it's like the equivalent of back in like 1600s when you have someone saying the Earth's round and the Earth actually revolves around the sun, not the sun revolves around the Earth. You're a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
God made the Earth. This, that.
Yeah.
But now it's just about like you shouldn't have a thought.
yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't have an original thought that challenges everything that we like.
Yeah. And that's the thing when they always used to come after him because it would be for that.
Yeah.
It's just
It's just a thought
the
project.
thought.
Yeah.
And that's why I like a lot of podcasters because they just throw the thought out there. It doesn't mean I subscribe to it.
No.
It means this is just something.
Yeah, there's some pretty good books. See, this is the thing also. If it's challenging to majority of people potentially because they don't understand it, then they're probably going to be against it, which doesn't make sense either. Like it makes sense theoretically, but it doesn't make sense intellectually. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean you should disagree with it. You should just be like, I don't understand.
Where it gets more confusing than that is that if you're in some sort of world or some sort of bubble where if you want to move up in the world, you have to share these views. Like in Hollywood, you have to share these views to get up in their system. So if someone projects something that doesn't fit with that view, for you to climb up your own ladder in your own world, you can denounce that, which gives you those virtue signaling points to go higher.
Yeah, so
There's an element of that too.
So the trouble I can imagine, for example, with something like Hollywood would be there are ways to do it differently, but you're making it harder on yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is the thing, like you could still try and you can still get success. It will be harder than doing it the other way though. But you could still do it if you work hard enough.
Probably not. It's the same way.
There's heaps of actors that don't have a public profile because they're not interested. There is. I don't know specifically by name, but I'm just saying.
Coming to my mind was like Daniel Day-Lewis.
And yeah, like Keanu Reeves doesn't particularly want to be in the public.
Yeah.
Just that all of this shit's happened to him. So of course the media is going to report on it.
Yeah.
He's not, he does interviews and all that sort of
You
stuff.
got to play the game.